Good morning, good morning. How you guys doing? My life was thrown upside down this morning. Having issues with YouTube not working properly. Woke up and took a look at the 3M chart, and it's like everything is shifted on me. I'm thinking, what in the bloody hell is going on here? Oh my gosh. Really, really thrown off this morning. So, boy, oh boy. So what I wanted to look at is, if you guys trade the 3M Corporation, the first thing I want to point out is how all of a sudden, our analysis shifted majorly. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. It was just like out of nowhere. I've seen stock splits before, but this was crazy, and this has affected me because I have shares of this company that I've been holding for some time. And as of Friday, we were up really nicely on these shares. And all of a sudden, boom, this morning, I'm down. I'm like, wait a minute. And it's not just that gap, price gap down. It was that price used to be at a totally different price. Like this used to be up here in the 100s, and now it's in the 90s. So anyways, it turns out that anybody holding shares of 3M, what they did was they took 1/4 of your shares and put it into another company. So now I own shares of a company that I never really wanted. And so when the market opens at 9:30, I'll have a bunch of shares of another company. So I'm just going to exit out of my position. I'm going to take my profits and I'm going to move along. And the reason being is because like I was talking to my wife about it this morning, and she's like, so what are you going to do now that you own shares of this other company? I said, well, I'm going to sell it because I don't know anything about this new division or this new offset of the company. It's going to have chart price action that I'm not familiar with. I haven't studied it. I know what's going on with 3M and its chart and its price action. I know very well what's going on. But the second you get me involved in other companies, I don't want to hold shares. Okay. So if I don't know what's going on with the chart, I don't want to own it. Okay. I'm not a person that's buying shares of a company because of its fundamentals, right? As crazy as that sounds, it's the truth. I don't care what's going on with the fundamentals, really. I mean, I don't want to buy a company that's in the middle of going bankrupt, obviously. I do enough due diligence to find out if there's anything terrible happening with the company. But my main focus is price action, okay? Because everything can be found on price action. No matter what, you look at the charts and you can see the calling card left behind by the big institutions. And 3M is one of them, okay? 3M is one of them. Another position that we're holding in our portfolio is Target, okay? Target is doing extremely well. And as you can see, we had, leading into earnings, we had good earnings results. We suspected that was going to happen. Why is that? Well, because when we looked at the charts, we could see significant buying taking place here, significant buying taking place here, significant buying taking place here. So you got 3 areas of massive and significant buying taking place. And you look at the earnings results, positive. The next one, positive. What happens? Price gaps up. Big increase in our portfolio. Price retraces. And at this point, as it was retracing, this is when you have to know what you're doing, because you're looking at your P&L and you see your P&L decreasing, right? You get this big, beautiful gap up and your profits are up and you're really happy. And then you see price starting to retrace and you're thinking to yourself, uh-oh. and you're losing on the value. But because of all the significant buying that was happening here, all the significant buying that was happening here, and all the significant buying that was happening here, what was I supposed to expect? That price was going to come down and do this? It didn't make sense. When we read price and applied the Sherlock analysis process to the charts, it wouldn't have made any sense for price to have done that. So we held. And we held knowing that it was very likely price was going to continue up. And look at that. We held through this whole swoop down. Now we have price up in the 177s. So this position is doing extremely well. It's one of many positions that we're holding, and it's doing extremely well for us. We have targets a lot higher. And yeah, we'll continue to hold and let this one play out. My man here thinks it's really cool. So let's take a quick look at the S&P as of today. What's taking place? So we have the trends to the upside, 2 bullish momentum candles on the monthly chart. We have these big red clouds. Okay, anybody understand why we have the big red clouds? Do you guys remember why? Let me bring something up for you. Which one am I looking for? 1044, 1024, this one here. Going to bring up the CoT data here. This is the latest set of data from the CFTC for the S&P. In fact, let me also bring it up here so you can see. Where is she? Here she is. There. Make it a little bit easier for you guys. Here we go. Okay. This is the CoT data for the S&P. And we've been pointing out for quite some time that there's been an increase in short positions here. Since the beginning, or mid-January, I'd say, we could see that there's been some big influence on the short side here. 469, 510, 508, 522. Up until 3 weeks ago, we were 520,000 short. As price is rallying here, it's not typically what we want to see with respect to positions being held by non-commercials, okay? Because remember, non-commercials, they are speculating on the direction of price. And if we look at the coloration of the cells of longs, what do we see? What color do we see there? Blue. That means they are cooled off with their longs. Yet somehow price continues to rally upwards. So we've been very skeptical of this rally. And we've been reading articles, and there's been a lot of news out there about how the big tech CEOs are offloading shares of their stocks as price has been making these highs. Which leads me to wonder what's going on here. So we move over to the Nasdaq, and I saw recently that longs were being offloaded here. Okay, up until recently, longs were aggressive and they looked very good until this latest set of data, which is now making me wonder if they're getting ready to drop price. Okay, look, up until March 12th, we had their positions quite aggressive. All right, look, all the way up until March 12th, quite aggressive with their longs. Last 2 weeks, not so much. Look at that, from 87,000 down to 68,000, from 68,000 down to 64,000. Okay, that's offloading long positions. And it's interesting how it's timed with, you know, some of the news that we've been reading with respect to the tech CEOs offloading shares, right? And then we look at short positions. What do we see? Over the last few weeks, over the last few weeks, an increase in shorts. They used to be in the low 40s, then 55, 60, 65, 80s, 86, okay? That's what those clouds mean. I draw those in as a representation of what's taking place on the chart. So a little bit skeptical about what's taking place. The bottom line is, as it stands, we still have upward trends on the charts, and we still have significant areas of buying that are taking place on the charts. So as long as those trends hold and as long as those zones hold, we don't have any reason to suspect that price is going to be dropping anytime soon. So we still have bullish bias with respect to the stock market. All right, let me show you another one. You're going to like to see this one. NatGas. I know you guys follow NatGas. I hear you guys asking about NatGas a lot. So here's the data for NatGas. Let me just cut this so you can take a look. Here is the data. And let's go over to the NatGas chart. NatGas, here we go. So NatGas is one that I am watching, and I am preparing to get into a position, okay? I'm not going to give you the details of how I'm going to get into this position because that will be for members, but I just want to let you know of what I see going on here. So when we look at positions, what can we see? We can see a couple things. Number one, maximum long positions were 398,000. Oops, let me just, there we go. Maximum long positions that they ever had was 398,000. Right now we're at 345. So are we at max? No, but we're getting close to that, right? Shorts, all-time max was 566. Recently, they're at 510. That was in February. February 20th, they reached 510. Not that far away from all-time maximum shorts. What do we see has been happening? Take a look. 510 back in February 27, they offloaded a significant amount of those positions. 467, they went down to 456, 453. Just this past week, they added back in. Why do they add back in? Many times when they add positions, it doesn't mean they're starting to accumulate a position to push price in the direction of that position. Many times it's just used to balance price off so they can do something with the other position. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when they're taking profits on one, they'll add on the other side. Okay? But then eventually what they'll do is they'll offload those positions slowly. But they'll help balance price off so that there isn't a lot of movement with price. And so 510, they offloaded them. That's been the main driving factor here of price, is offloading short positions. And where are they offloading short positions? They're offloading it at a institutional demand area. So the chances of price rallying from this becomes more increased the more we're seeing evidence of them offloading short positions and evidence of them increasing long positions. The chances of a move to the upside become more. So recently we see, 350s, they took some off down to 345, but there's been a steady increase that we've been seeing here, okay? Not this past week, but leading up to it, okay? If you look at the data, look at net positions, minus 153, 141, 128, 104, 103. It's diminishing slowly and surely, just getting lower and lower and lower. So I believe that over time, we might see a very strong move to the upside. It's just about timing the entry at this point, okay? And locating the area where the banks are likely going to reverse price and head and push price higher. So that is looking pretty good. So that's natural gas, and bonds has been something that we've been watching for quite some time. I have a position in bonds, and we've been just watching for the data to suggest that price is going to continue in an upward fashion. And if we look at the coloration here, I can see slight increase in bullishness. Okay, slight increase in the coloration of the cells to the bullishness. Okay, it used to be bearish, right here. You see how the coloration of the cells is more red down here? Then a tinge of blue. Now it's starting to get into green. This is giving me an indication that momentum is likely shifting, okay? Another thing is, if you look here, a lot of people ask, why do you have the 13-period average? Well, it's an average that I came up with over a lot of research, a lot of testing, to determine what was the best way to see momentum shifting. And it works like a moving average. The only thing is I'm looking at the last 13 periods of data. And based on the last 13 periods of data, the average size position of longs for the non-commercial is 200,000. Where are we at? 235. So we're above average for longs. Average position for shorts, 293. Where are we at? 256. We're below average for shorts. So this typically, when you apply it to the proper context of price, this will give you an indication of that momentum shifting from price, okay? It's shifting from being bullish. It's shifting from being bearish to bullish, all right? So this is one of the reasons why I got into position with TLT, been holding it for a while, been receiving those dividend payments, which has been really nice. They just keep on adding. I keep on reinvesting in buying more shares, so that's been really good. And I'm seeing the indication that momentum shifting from bearishness to bullishness. I knew this was going to take time in order to shift its momentum, and I was perfectly okay with it because, well, frankly, because I'm receiving dividends for holding my position. And I keep accumulating a larger position every time I receive my dividends. So these are the things that I'm focused on at the beginning of the week. Like I said, that 3M and seeing my position down and all the chart data shift downwards, it was like entering into the twilight zone this morning. I couldn't quite understand what the heck was going on. But one of my friends on Telegram, who is a follower of our channel, he let me know about what was going on, and so thank the Lord, because I didn't know what was going on. I was looking at the news and trying to figure out why that was happening, but I couldn't figure it out. Anyways, if you guys would like to join us on our Telegram channel, you can go to whiteoakfx.com. Just scroll to the bottom. There's that little icon there for our Telegram channel. That's the easiest way to get access to it. You just click there, it'll take you there, and easy breezy. Okay? Yeah, April Fool's is today, eh? I thought like some April Fool's joke was being played on me. I had no idea what was going on. Anyways, guys, that's what I'm watching. Obviously, I've got my eyes like a hawk on the Euro-US dollar. It's dropping just as we suspected. In fact, I made a post this morning for members about the very specific zone that price is dropping from right now, which giving another opportunity to enter in positions. So I'm watching this one very closely because I am currently in a big position on this one. Members know exactly the size and all that stuff, all my entries, everything's been working perfectly. So yeah, we'll leave you at that with that. Okay, so enjoy your day. Thanks for joining me, and tomorrow we'll see you bright and early, 8 a.m. All right, you take care of yourself, and so long.